And welcome back, everybody, to All Hang Up and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, with over 300 beers to choose from at 8 different Western New York locations. Fatty Beer is the premier spot for all of your happy hour, your trivia, your live entertainment needs. Whenever you want a cold, refreshing beer, make sure you go check out Fatty Beer. That actually rolled right off the tongue. I like that. And then, of course, Buffalo Go Apparel. Make sure you go check out buffalogo.com, at Buffalogo Co. on Instagram and Twitter. They have some of the best options for all of your Buffalo sports, hoodie, hats, shirts, pants, jackets. They have everything. It's all local design. Support your local businesses now. Make sure you go check out at Buffalogo. Buffalo, Hurls, I didn't think it'd get much more uninspiring than yesterday, but leave it to the Sabres to prove us wrong there. I went live by myself last night and put out about 20 minutes of just, it's only one game. We have 81 more. Let's not get too panicked. They're playing in a foreign country. I didn't buy the Lindy nerves thing. Like, they were nervous. Like, I don't buy that. These are pro athletes. They've all been around for the most part for a while. And even the new guys you signed, those guys have been around for even longer than those guys. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, that was really bad. And even yesterday, towards the second half of the game, I thought they played pretty well. They at least responded from the slow start, which was really emblematic of last season, which was obviously very concerning, especially given Lindy's first game and the fact that they had been in Prague way longer than the Devils. They came out flat, which was unfortunate. I don't necessarily subscribe to the nerves thing either. I think that's Lindy just trying to cover up for his group. But today was just unbelievably boring and uninspired. Yep. And the only reason it was close was Devin Levi. 36 to 18 shots, doubled us up, which doesn't happen often in the National Hockey League. Another trend from last year, 33 to 18 in favor of the Devils for faceoffs. Another concerning issue, which they haven't figured out yet. And block shots, 22 to 10 for the Devils. They couldn't get anything through. It was a lot of lazy muffins directed towards the net that didn't really have any type of clear intention whatsoever. They didn't play with much jam. I mean, they had the hit advantage, but if you have the hit advantage and you don't have the advantage in anything else, like what is the point? So, as you said, yeah, just a really, really poor effort today. And even getting the first goal, which they really struggled to do most of last season, you think that would inspire some confidence and inspire a better effort moving forward. But even after that first goal, it was the Devils' game from there on out.
And what's one thing we have talked about a lot on this program, Hurls, about the makeup of this new team? Like, what's the one thing that I've really been loud about? I'm sure you'll get it with just one or two tries.
I mean, so if there was an injury in the top six, what were we gonna do? Turns out there's an injury in the top six.
In the fucking second game of the season, buddy.
First try, baby. Come on. You got to give me some credit for that.
We're not cheering the injury, guys. We're not. It's not what's happening.
It is it speaks to what we talked about all offseason long.
It is just an example of you have barely, and I'm being generous when I say a two-line scoring team right now. Because they're right now, the last two games, they were not a two-line scoring team. They are now a one-line scoring team because that lineup, depending on how serious, like JJ Peterka is being treated for concussion. And, you know how that stuff could be. It could be a really serious one. He could be out for a few weeks. We don't know. And this is not a team that could afford to be without JJ Peterka for a few weeks, or even honestly, even a few games. But just an example. Like, look how discombobulated they looked after that. I mean, they didn't look that good beforehand, but now look.
Jordan Greenway's on the first line.
Yeah, Jordan Greenway on the top line. And no, you're wrong. Would we say Zach Benson had a bad game yesterday? I mean, I don't know. I think everybody had a bad game yesterday. He sat out of the lineup. Maybe that's Lindy just trying to send a message to a young kid. I don't know.
19 years old.
I know you probably had to get Kulik in the lineup after going 0 for 4 on the power play. Plus, you're in front of his in his hometown. You expect him maybe to add some jump to the lineup, some spark.
I like that move. I'm glad they did that.
I did too. I talked about it last night. I love that move. But
it's really unfortunate. And
it's just
and we said if there was another slow start to this season, just like last season, who would it fall on? It's Kevin Adams.
Players.
Well,
Kevin. Oh yeah, no, the players after Kevin Adams. Yeah, like this is just again. We talked about buying out Skinner. Like, okay, it made sense if you were spending that money into your top 6 and replacing it. But he literally did the same thing he did last year. The same thing. The same goddamn thing. He's hoping for a progression. He's hoping to get the answers internally. He's not going outside the organization other than the draft to address the team's needs. The only addition he made offensively last year was an 18-year-old, 175-pound Zach Benson. And now, what answers did he give? He buys out Jeff Skinner. And whether I don't give a shit. I'm so done with the analytics about how bad of a defensive player is. The guy scored goals. He scored average 30 or more goals on this team for how long? If you take away the Ralph Kruger years. You just don't take away 30-plus goals out of your lineup and replace it with an often injured Jack Quinn and fucking Jason Zucker. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't work. And why the fuck did you free up all that money on the cap if you weren't going to do anything with it? You spent it on players that you could have just spent that you had the money to spend on anyway. Like, what is this?
For
sick roof, sick plain white tee roof, sick scoreboard. Thank you. Just fucking put Jeff Skinner's name, Jeff Skinner Memorial Scoreboard for the home opener. I would love it. I would absolutely love it because that's where that goddamn money went.
For all of our new listeners out there, this is Duane's form of therapy, which is.
And now JJ Paterka could be out who knows how long. And we'll have an Adam address it.
This is how we cope with the 13 years and the continual disappointment of what we've been seeing from this organization. Yeah, it is really, really emblematic of all the problems we talked about. And it's really concerning because, as we said, if they get off to this slow start again, it is really insanely difficult to come back from, especially in this league, especially with a young team, especially with a team that looks like they still can't score. You got 2 goals in 2 games. You're 0 for 6 on the power play. It so far is the exact same team as last season, and we're all that guy. We're all that meme from that one show. I don't know the name of it. It was like, we're all looking for the guy who did this. We're all looking for him. We obviously know what happened. We know that there's an internal cap. We know that they're not spending to it because they were told not to. It is the exact same issue that we've had for the last 7-8 years when they said that they were being economic, efficient, spending cautiously. They have been one of the lowest spending teams in the league for years on end now. And these are the results. You are putting a middling to lower level group out there every single night with a few high-end pieces that when there's an injury or they get down in games or they face a good team like the Devils, they're not going to be able to come back from. The Devils improved this offseason. You saw their additions.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of guys contributing, and also they brought in. I do not think this is on Lindy at the moment, but I do think Sheldon Keefe is a very good coach, and their systems appear to be working. They played pretty inspired. They had a lot of jump early on in games, and they were able to get to the places they needed to get. Even on that Jesper Bratt goal.
Yeah.
You go around the net, and Bowen Byram has his head looking directly behind the net. And the guy that he's supposed to pick up in front of the net and prevent that goal gets behind him, Timo Meier, and puts it in the net. And it is just
Can we talk about
so
something
disappointing.
I want to get to the comments. After Timo Meier scores that third goal, and listen, Samuelsson, he got caught flat-footed. Like he got, that's not on him. He did everything he could to stop that play from happening. Who was it? Was it Yoki Haru that was behind on the play?
Before that,
yeah. So I'm not going to put so much blame on Samuelsson because like he got caught flat-footed.
He at least tried.
Yeah,
it looked bad, but he at least tried.
And then Levi, like the wraparound, like he's expecting a save. He seals the ice there, and then he gets caught up. And I want to say, was it Samuelsson he got caught up in a little bit when he was spinning around? Well,
Byram was out there, so yeah, I don't know.
Oh, regardless, that was so. So we had 3 defensemen out there for that third goal.
I don't know for sure, but I know Byram was the guy that was supposed to pick up the guy in front of the net, and he was watching the puck.
So it was Byram. Okay. As I know, Yoki Haru was out there during that Timo Meier goal, the third goal.
Yeah, it must have been the 2 of them then.
So if you go back and watch that replay, and I urge you to right now while I'm talking, watch what happens. You want to talk uninspiring. When Levi gets – and listen, I'm not yelling at Timo Meier because he's just making a hard play tonight to score a goal. But we're goalies. Devin Levi gets absolutely blown out by Timo Meier. Does a somersault.
Yeah.
Yoki Haru is staring right at it. Right at it. He's looking right at it. And he just, like someone just pulled the fucking controller out of the PS5 and just skates away after a guy just blows out your goaltender. I don't care if it was an accident or not. That's your goalie.
Yeah.
But don't worry, guys. Alex Chuck, your first-line winger, he's the guy that's going to be sticking up and making guys like Brendan Dillon answer for calls for hit to the head. That's the guy, right? That's the guy. That's the guy we want having those fights. And I applaud him for doing it because it can't go unanswered. But that guy didn't get touched the rest of the game.
Yeah. I mean, in my beer league, guys stick up for me when I get touched. This is the NHL. This is the best league in the world. You have to have some fight. You have to have some purpose. And through these 2 games, whether it was nerves or inexperience or lack of chemistry, we didn't see any of that. We didn't see any urgency. We didn't see any jam.
Nothing.
Yeah, you got some hits. Congratulations. You revamped your bottom 6, and you improved your hitting game. You improved your forecheck. But you can't make a breakout. You can't complete passes. This is simple level hockey that they cannot execute. And
it's just not paying attention to details. The face-offs are horrendous.
I
listen to Lindy talk about face-offs
I don't think we've been good at face-offs since Paul Gostad.
Yeah, the Goose.
I don't know. We somehow got a first-round pick for, but I think that's the last time. Maybe Ryan O'Reilly, when he was here, but that's the last time we had a good face-off guy consistently.
Here he is, man, making his premiere with us on Built in Buffalo. Your boy. There he is. Mauricio is back. He wasn't on last night. Yesterday. Sorry, boys, being absent. Being in Lower Cabo all summer, pool party cousins in a fraud pastry chef turnover. NHL Network broadcast said team lacks urgency, connection, passing. Man, I miss Mauricio with his lack of punctuation. I missed it.
Yeah. Just a stream of consciousness, but honestly, that's kind of how I think we all feel at the moment. Urgency, connections, passing. Just mentioned those 3 things. Me and Mauricio already on the same page to begin the year. Shout out.
Yep. Shout out Mauricio. Glad that game was over early in the morning, ready for baseball for the rest of the day.
We'll hit the golf course.
Yeah. I golfed yesterday. Work golf out. It was one of the best times I had golfing, and probably the best I ever hit. It's great. Why would Lindy take a job where he can't hire his own staff? Looks real bad on Lindy right now. Money grab, easy paycheck, money. I hope I'm wrong.
I
think
Lindy's made enough money in his life. I don't think he took this job for the money. Like, there's a clear nostalgia factor. There's a clear wanting to right the wrongs of the past. Like, I don't think that's the reason, and I don't put this on Lindy right now. I really don't. Seth Appert was supposed to come in and be more creative on the power play, and yet we've got 3 guys standing at the blue line, and all the opposing team needs to do is stack that blue line and pressure them and wait for that drop back pass, and they can't get it in the zone. It's as if it's the red curtain of communist Russia standing at the blue line, and they cannot get past the offensive zone to save their lives. It is a simple dump and chase with speed to the opposite corner to get past that. Whatever wall you call it, every single team does that to us, and they know that is how they disrupt the power play entry. You need to be creative. You need to adapt, and they haven't done that in a year and a half.
Yeah, I just – at what point do we just really – I mean, we look at the roster and say, yeah, it's the players. I mean, it's been 2 games for Lindy. Like, you can't put anything that's on Lindy. Like,
no, absolutely not.
If there's a coach out there that we know is going to do his best as a coach to make sure his team is prepared, it's Lindy Ruff. We've seen 100%. It for years here. So, 100%. Like, what's the hang up here? Like, what's the hang up?
I think we mentioned it. Roster construction.
Like, it's just, do we gotta take the C off Darlene and give it to some no-name guy and just say now you gotta earn it again? Like, I don't like. It's not Darlene. I'm just saying shit. Like
yeah. No, we're putting out at least the bottom half of our lineup an AHL quality lineup. And if you can't score goals and you can't support your goaltender, who's in his 30th career NHL start, he's 21 years old, and he gives you a .970 save percentage, and he keeps you in the game the entire game, and you can't support that with any type of concerted effort, at least offensively, it's inexcusable. It is inexcusable, and it was emblematic of everything that we saw last season. This is the exact same team with a few new faces in the bottom 6 currently.
Yep.
And if they lay an egg at home against the Kings, who, by the way, I see them all the time out here, are a very good team. And they just picked up Darcy Kemper. They had a lot of goaltending issues last year, and they've added a couple forwards. They have a lot of really good young prospects. Quentin Byfield's going to be a very good player this season. They have a very good top line. They can score goals. They've got depth on defense. That's the type of team that can give this team trouble, just like we saw with the Devils. If you lay an egg in the home opener, which is probably not even going to be a full house at this point, that is going to be yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Ruff says the Zach Benson scratch was a lower body injury, and obviously JJ concussion being treated. JJ Paterka being treated for concussion. Duane, team looks stale, uninterested, lacks physicality, power play. Let's talk about the power play. That'll be a whole. Looks lost, wrong mix of players, no front of net presence all game long. And here's the thing: one of the few times they did send bodies to the net, what happened? Hurls ended up in the New Jersey's net.
Nice little greasy goal.
Yeah, like I love a good greasy goal, and you know, I love it that the fact that the guy who got it was Tage Thompson. Even yesterday with the one goal they scored, all 5 guys were below the goal line. All 5, Owen Power. He was on the doorstep when he scored that goal. Like, I think that's like some of the messages that like the makeup and of the structure that Lindy wants is this, this fearlessness of getting to the net and finding pucks and, willingness to take chances when the opportunity is there. But like, they had like 11 shots going into the third period. And even in desperation, even in a situation where you're desperate to get a win, it's tied 1-1. You still only up with 7 shots on net in the third.
Yeah. Yeah, we were saying going into the third, you need to outshoot them. You need urgency. You need desperation. And I think they probably intended to have that. But if it doesn't manifest itself on the ice, if you're not able to execute that, then any feeling, any intention that you have going into that period or into the game doesn't matter. If you're not able to execute and you're not able to actually do the things that you say you're going to do, even before the season, in the preview episode, we talked about getting bodies to the net, defensemen potentially having more points this season because there's going to be more tips, deflections, rebounds, greasy goals. I'm not seeing any of that. And every shot's getting blocked. They're missing the net. Shots are getting blocked. They're not finding lanes. And they're giving all of that up on the other end. It is horribly, horribly disappointing.
Yeah. Kulik was very strong on his skates and made some great passes. I didn't hate Kulik's game. He didn't hurt us. I guess if you're trying to find positives. Duane, team is full of excuses. Half Truth Lindy Adams drinking the Kool-Aid. Poor face-off percentage continues. We are the Carolina Panthers of the NHL.
Oof.
Oh, wow.
That hurts.
That does, but is it true?
At this point, it is true. And it's really, really difficult to say.
I just snapped a
I would
picture.
even say
that's fantastic.
The Chicago White Sox of the MLB, the Portland Trailblazers of the NBA. It is getting to the point where it is just, well, it already has been, but it's horribly, horribly depressing.
I just snapped a picture of that. I had to because I could see it.
No, I mean, yeah, no, it's the New York Jets of the NFL. It's
Yeah.
It's a similar type of thought, but yeah, it's really bad.
Anyone who has played hockey at a high school or club level has done passing drills. That I routinely watch the Sabres miss these 2 games. That's what's frustrating for me. Yeah, the passing has been inept, man. It's just
simple
it just
stuff.
seems like they're scared. They're scared to make a mistake.
Yeah. And they mentioned the nerves, and that's natural. We're all human beings. But when you're a professional athlete and this is your job.
Here we go. Connor is grooving sunny Cali vibes.
It's pretty foggy here, Mauricio. So perception isn't always reality.
I do want to point this out. Quinn has not looked good in 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
He's not looked like he's fit in that top 6.
Yeah. I would say.
Again, it's early, but
I would say give it a little time. When he was healthy last year, he was one of the best players at 5-on-5 in the whole league. So whether that's the recovery from the injury or getting in the feel of the season to begin the year, I would give Jack Quinn some time because he's proven over his course of the time in the NHL that he's a pretty good player. So I wouldn't worry about him too much.
Here's a comment from Greg. Speaking on not spending the money from buying out Skinner, 1, name a player that wants to come here, and 2, name a player that does or doesn't have a choice that's worth spending the money on. I mean, I think money talks, bullshit walks, and if there's a guy that's out there that might be a $5 million player anywhere else, if Buffalo comes in and he's a 25 goal guy, but he's going to help your team, and you can get him on a 1-year deal, kind of like you did Zucker. I'm still blown away. We paid Jason Zucker $5 million a season.
It's representative of the fact that we do have to overpay for guys to come.
Yeah, but I also overpay on the right guys.
Yeah, and believe me, I didn't mind, especially yesterday. I didn't mind Zucker's game. I thought he was pretty good. I really did. And when you look at the numbers from yesterday specifically, he was one of our best forwards in terms of offensive creation.
Yep.
So I think he eventually could serve a role, but if you have to put Jason Zucker into our top 6 because of an injury, then we'll see. Here's my boy Jack. A lot of talk about speed all offseason for looking like they're skating through mud through 2 games. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I think that is another example of you had this intention going in. You can say the forecheck's going to be better. You're going to say that the physicality is going to be better. But if you can't execute simple passes and breakouts and get to the front of the net, like you were saying you were going to get to the front of the net, you can have as much speed in the neutral zone as you want. It's not going to make a difference if you can't control the puck. What matters most in the game of hockey, as goalies specifically, we know, is the goddamn puck. If you're not controlling the puck for the majority of the game and you're not getting more chances than the other team from a line-to-line basis, you're going to lose the game, and you're going to lose the majority of the games. So you can be as fast as you want.
We're losing so many small battles along the boards. In the neutral zone, we're horrendous. Like I said, trying to enter the zone with the puck, it's just non-existent. They might as well just go out there and play dump and chase and hope for the best. Like your buddy Jack, straight up, the whole narrative was we're going to be a faster, tougher team to play against. Did you get that from the first 2 games? Faster, tougher?
I mean, hits were 25-13 today. Out hit them by 12. What does that prove?
Yeah. The Skinner buyout was the right move. Not making a trade at the draft or spending money was the problem. No one wanted to come to Buffalo, though. They tried to trade for Nikas, and he wouldn't come. Yeah. Listen, I just – there had to be – if you're a good GM, there's moves out there that can be made. You can figure out I don't care if you can't subject this fan base to this again. You just can't. You can't genuinely say out loud that you care about this fan base and getting this team to the playoffs and what we've sacrificed, both time, financially, mentally, emotionally, like all those things. You can't honestly say that stuff out loud, but then keep on pulling the same vicious circle bullshit where you're trotting out the same team essentially every damn year.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we kept these core players together. So glad we got rid of Casey Middlestat, didn't replace him. I'm so glad we got rid of Jeff Skinner, didn't replace him. But hey, guys, we got Beck Melenstein. We don't got Sam Lafferty. Nothing against those players, but you could have got those players last year, and you didn't. Because God forbid we get rid of Zemgus Girgensons and Kyle Okposo, right? God forbid we get rid of those guys.
I'm starting to miss Zemgus, actually.
Looks good in the Tampa jersey.
That's the sad part. Yeah, it's the reality of the situation. I think they're in a really tough spot, obviously, because they've had no success for 13 years. Guys don't want to come. They don't want to pay to make the guys come. Even the McLeod trade, like, I imagine that was really hard to do when you had to give up one of your top prospects in the system to do it. And yeah, he's a nice player, but he's a third line center. He's not the big addition that you needed this offseason. He's not the guy that is going to take this team over the top. I've liked Tage's game through 2 games. I think he's closer to getting back to that 1A level player that he was in 2022, 2023. But if he has no support around him, Tuck doesn't look great again. Cousins, yeah, he had 7 shots on goal yesterday, but he couldn't receive passes today, breaking out of the zone. He's really feels like he's got an absolute muffin of a shot. Like that heavy wrist shot that we saw in 2022, 2023 from him, in the placement doesn't appear to be there anymore. And everything else, obviously the defense is an entire another story. I think it's, obviously not good enough, especially the bottom pair. But yeah, it really, really comes down to roster construction and the position that this organization's put themselves in. And until they start winning, nothing's going to change.
I normally don't do this because, copyright, whatever, but I just want everybody to watch this video. I just can't get over this, man, as a goalie. Can we see it? Can we see it? All right. We're going to play this video for everybody because I want everybody to watch Yoki Haru. Watch him. Just skates away. Just fucking skates right away. Let's play it one more time, everybody. Let's play it one more time. Just skates away. Just skates away. Are you kidding me with that?
I can't get over Byram going spread eagle on his skis in front of the net, just reaching for the puck and not even thinking about looking for the trail guy who eventually scores the goal. As an NHL defenseman or a defenseman at any level, for that matter, if you don't have any type of awareness at all for who's open in front of the net, I say this all the time, but when I play, I'm screaming when the puck is in the corner or behind the net. Like front, please cover the front. Anything in your power. Head on a swivel, look who's in front. Because the guy that scores the goal is not the guy that's behind the net. It's the guy that's wide open in front and can one-time it and make it extremely easy. And if you cover him or even tie up his stick, that's all you got to do.
From Guides, they don't get pucks to the middle. They get some zone control, but they don't do anything with it. Yeah, again, the neutral zone, it was just very passive. They were the ones on their heels instead of New Jersey. Never put New Jersey on their heels. They never put New Jersey on their heels today. Nope. We've had multiple coaches and they still can't get nothing out of these players. Buffalo is the only organization that takes 15 to 20 years to rebuild a team. This is ridiculous. No one is accountable. And they just keep paying these bums. Keep paying these bums.
Some of the best comments we have are after games like this.
Yeah. They just keep paying these. Yep. The power play breakout was very awkward and clunkily. The system seemed to have players in the way. They're definitely all on a different sheet of music. I actually really like that comment from, we'll give him a shout out, Bills fan 7883. I'm a big fan of that comment because, yeah, like there was just no fluid, like there was nothing fluid when they would finally start to get possession. And then when they get the possession, they're trying to work the puck to the net. Like there's no bodies in front. Nobody's screening Allen. Like I remember it was an Owen Power shot where he hesitated, waited for the guy to get out of his way, much like he did on his goal yesterday. And he shot, and Jake Allen was just like, yeah, all right, easy save. Like,
yeah.
Like we can't even say we got goalied because we've been goalied by Jake Allen before, but like we didn't test him.
That wasn't we didn't get goalied tonight.
No, we got sabered.
We got sabered.
So, your thoughts on the power play?
Like I was mentioning earlier, the zone entry is a big part of the problem, and they're banging their head against a wall, trying to force it past the 3 or 4 guys that are just standing at the blue line and trying to carry the puck in. And of course, you want to enter the zone with possession because that gives you a leg up for setting up your power play. That is ideal. But if you cannot enter the zone with possession, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same results. Enter with speed, chip it in, and go retrieve it. You, as Jack said, this entire thing for this team was speed. And if you're not using the speed that you have to go retrieve pucks in the offensive zone and forecheck, what is the point of speed?
Yep, it's true.
And then
not wrong.
Because they don't have possession and because they can never get possession, they can't set up their power play and even be slightly creative with it. And also, the most frustrating thing in the world is when you have that initial offensive zone face-off. Excuse me, I'm losing my balls here. When you have that initial offensive zone face-off on a power play, you have to win that draw. Because if you cannot enter the zone, you're not going to get possession the rest of the power play. And the best way to get possession on the power play when you have the initial face-off in their zone is to win the damn face-off. And they can never do it. The other team wins the face-off and sends it down the ice, and then we cannot get possession in the zone. So it's a multi-tiered problem, and it's going to take a lot of effort to fix it. But it's relatively simple, I think.
Do you wish Jeff Skinner was still on this hockey team?
Yeah, I would say so, especially given what we've seen, right? Like
I do. I
wish a lot of things. I wish Mitch was still here. I wish Jack Eichel was still on the team now. I wish Sam Reinhart was still here. I wish Brandon Montour was on the team.
Dude, just play the Better Days song already.
Yeah. You asked me what I want this year. Something. Dude, I want something.
Dude, look at this. It's game 2. It's game 2, Connor. Look at me.
I know.
It's game 2. Like,
hey, only 80 more of these.
Only 80 more. It's going to be a thoroughly miserable in the arena Thursday. How could it not be? Paterka, power play off with Donnelly, looks like he's still injured. Tuck and Tage look putrid. Levi is the only bright spot. Yeah, we didn't really get after, like, Levi had a great game tonight.
Amazing.
He in a tough atmosphere. Obviously, it's definitely seen there are a lot more Devils fans. There was a loud arena. I guess it could be uncomfortable playing in situations like that, even though he has had a lot of experience playing on the international stage, going back to World Juniors. But I mean, he showed up. He was legitimately the only guy that did show up tonight.
He, as Kevin Week said on the broadcast, he was locked in, especially in the first half of the game, which is what they needed to have a chance. He allowed you to get a 1-goal lead. And when you get a 1-goal lead, which doesn't happen often for this team, you need to keep pushing, and they did not keep pushing. And they allowed the Devils to get back in it relatively quickly. But I do think it's a good sign. I mean, you're going to have pretty good goaltending from this team this year. Like, I don't think yesterday was on UPL either. I thought he was relatively solid, and I think he's going to give you that level of consistency that you saw for most of last season. And then if you have a 1B in Devin Levi who played like he did tonight, he's going to give you a chance to win. And if you can't take advantage of that chance, it's just a systematic failure of execution of a hockey team. Point blank.
Yeah. Yep. Thank God we drafted, developed, and traded Casey Middlestat. We sure don't need him. We can watch Byron pretend he's a winger. Is that what happened there? Maybe was he out there playing the wing? Like I don't even know.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I'm not giving up on him because I do think he's got the tools, but at least defensively, it hasn't been good enough, and it's got to be better.
From Gar, I think it's time to look really hard at the Harbor Center coaching gang, starting with Kevin Adams. Is Kevin Adams in the hot seat if this team starts like 2-8?
I think we said it in the offseason. Absolutely. Like, somehow we keep bringing up urgency. He didn't have the urgency, or he didn't have the ability, one of the two, to make this roster marginally better. And because of that, if this start happens, he will be the scapegoat. He will be the guy that gets axed. I mean, if Terry even cares enough at this point, which is another discussion for another day. But changing the GM mid-season, like, what's that going to do? Like, the damage is already done. The roster is the roster. You're not going to make these sweeping, tangible changes mid-season for a team that likely, if this continues, will be in a selling mode, let alone, like, already looking to next year. So if Kevin Adams gets fired, what's that going to do?
I don't know, but do you wait a full season to make the move?
No, I mean, I personally wouldn't. It's punishment for not doing enough, not doing anything, and the moves you did make, not making that much of an impact at all. Yeah. So I wouldn't personally, but I'm not Terry Pegula.
Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm not getting to everybody's comments here. There's just really a lot of them, like a lot of them. Wife keeps bugging me to go to a game. We didn't go at all last year. So far, I'm not really wanting to bother. I know it's early, but we've read this book before.
Go downtown, have a couple blue lights, maybe get some wings, go to the game. There's, as Dion said in our pod a week and a half ago, get outside in Buffalo. There's not that many entertainment options, but even just socially, even if the team sucks, it's kind of fun to go down to the arena, get in the atmosphere. Maybe they'll score a goal or two. Maybe we'll get a win every now and then. Go support the team. I mean, I say this with a tiny bit of cynicism and sarcasm, but I mean, as someone who doesn't live in Buffalo, I enjoy going down there anytime I can because I don't get too many opportunities to do it. I know it's completely different for the people that actually live in Buffalo and who have spent their hard-earned money, and I completely understand not wanting to support an organization that hasn't shown it back to us. There are two sides of the coin. Personally, I just love going to hockey games and seeing NHL hockey in person, even if it's the other team that you're largely marveling at.
I don't know if anybody can hear the camera clicking. I'm honestly taking a picture of a lot of these comments because some of them are great.
Let's make a collage.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a collage of a lot of these comments.
Yeah.
And then just run with it. I think I got at least 10 of them right now. Like let's all check in on Buffalo. It's true. Like, I'm gonna grab some of these. I'm gonna post them later because I love that you guys are always in here and hanging out with us and just
shout out to the chat.
Shout out to the chat. The best chat in podcasting, in my opinion.
The only reason we can do this somewhat sanely.
Yep. We're 2 games in and we're getting comments like this from Mauricio already.
Yeah. All right.
Oh man.
I think we've gone through the ringer here. I got a tea time. I'm gonna try to.
Any final thoughts?
Save my sanity for the rest of the afternoon. Obviously, very disappointing. International series, once again. It's obviously a tough way to start the season, but you can't control what the league wants you to do.
Yep.
And I think it's a privilege. Your 2 standalone games, obviously it's on NHL Network, which is insane, but your 2 standalone games, not up against many other sports. You have some type of platform, and you go out and lay an egg in the first half of the first game and basically the entire second game. So It's obviously horribly disappointing. But if I have a tiny bit of optimism, which is my best trait, I will say the goaltending is another bright spot, which in the NHL is hard to find, especially from two guys. If you have two guys that are going to give you a chance to win every single night, that is something the rest of the league doesn't have.
Yep.
So
and here we go, Pablo. If I'm Levi, I demand the net or trade him. Oh, game 2 of 82, baby.
Oh boy, we got a 21-year-old demanding trades. No, I think that's a bright spot. I really do. And if you can build out, which I think they're actually trying to do, and you can shore up the defensive system a little bit, hopefully the power play will improve, and maybe they'll complete a couple passes on Thursday. That would be nice.
Yeah.
It's obviously not over. And it is horribly, horribly concerning that it is very similar to the issues that we saw last season. But technically, it is a different team. And I do believe Lindy has been around long enough that they will take these 4 days to look at what the problems were and do their best to correct these issues. I really do believe it. We had some good chances, especially in the first game. And I don't think they're going to lay down and die. I really don't.
No. There's no chance a Lindy Ruff team is going to allow that to happen.
I don't think he'll let them, and I don't think they want to either because they have some pride. They have to have some pride.
Yep.
And that's kind of what they need right now. Urgency and pride and execution. That's all this is, and we get back to the drawing board on Thursday, and we go from there.
Agreed. My final thoughts are this. Get back on home soil. Really soak in, because it's going to be a fun atmosphere regardless if they're 0-2 or not when they play the LA Kings at home. Lindy's first game back at home in 11 years. I think it's still going to be a fun atmosphere. If you got a Lindy Ruff jersey, wear it. Find Lindy Ruff merch, wear it. And we have some at buffalogo.com. Go check it out. But I hope that they soak in all of that and just, I don't know, we just get a few wins under our belt. I think when we get that first win under our belt, maybe things will start to progress in the right direction, but we definitely just can't allow these lack of attention to details. I just want to be a fly in that locker right now and just know when we talk about accountability, what level of accountability is being asked for right now by Lindy Ruff. Because if it was me, if it old school Lindy Ruff, they shouldn't touch a puck at their next practice. Personally, that's just my opinion. But they're the things like passing, breaking out. Like, can you afford for them not to practice with pucks? Like, it's been so bad. So, that being said, guys, just always remember this is brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, with 8 different Western New York locations and over 300 beers to choose from. Make sure you go check out Fatty Beer and, as always, Buffalo Go Apparel. Whether it's your shirts, your hats, your hoodies, Bills, or Sabres, they have everything over there. Go check them out at Buffalo Co on Instagram or Twitter. I am Duane for Mr. Connor Hurley. We will see. When's the next game, Hurls?
Thursday.
Is that the home opener?
Home opener.
I'll be there. Me and producer Steve. Spirit. So, yep. So we'll talk to you then. And as always, go Sabres.